Hi guys, it's Heather with Makeup by Heather B. I'm excited to share this video with you today. So I had a recent request from one of my followers to do a video on makeup brushes. So there are so many different things we could cover about brushes. So we're gonna keep this pretty simple, and we're just gonna go over maybe what brushes you should have in your makeup bag no matter what. Okay, we'll keep it very simple because this is a bit overwhelming. So unless you're a professional makeup artist, you do not need that many brushes. So I'm gonna go over with you just some of my essentials that would be good to have in your makeup bag and what to use them for. All right, so let's get started with face brushes. So I love this brush for face makeup. A lot of women will ask me, well, why do I need to use a brush to put my foundation on with? So I want to do a really quick demo for you to show you the difference between using a brush, using your fingers, or using a sponge, okay? So we've got our little foundation here, and let's say we are going to use our fingers, okay? So you use your fingers, you get the foundation on, you're rubbing it on your skin, yada, 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 okay? Or let's say you might be the woman that uses a sponge. So you get your product on your sponge, you go to put it on, putting it on your cheeks, yada, 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 okay? All right, so then maybe you're the woman that uses a brush to put your foundation on with. There's all types of different brushes you can use to put your foundation on with, but we're gonna use this firm flat one. And you use your makeup brush to put your foundation on. So you can clearly see from the three of these, when you use your fingers, it definitely gets the product on there, but it's kind of a mess. It's not very even. Plus your fingers have oil and bacteria on them, so anytime you touch the skin, that oil can help break down the makeup, make you look shiny, make you break out, all kinds of things. So I would recommend not using your fingers. This middle one is with the sponge. So if you're spending a lot of money on your foundation, or even if you're not, you can see that the sponge uses most of the product, soaks up most of the product in the sponge, so that you're not getting left with much on the skin, plus the coverage isn't very good. And then this last one is with the brush. It's gonna be obviously the most even out of the three. So, and it's gonna give you the most coverage for your foundation with as much product as we use on the other three. So anyways, that's a fun little demo I like to do just to kind of show you the difference between using your fingers, a sponge, or a brush. Now, neither way is wrong, so do whatever feels good to you, but I just wanted to kind of share that with you to show you the difference, because so many women, like I said, ask, why should I use a brush? So, moving on, so if you're going to use a face brush for your foundation, this one's absolutely one of my favorites. It's by MAC, and you'll notice a lot of the brushes I use are by MAC. I used to work for them and got a really great deal on a lot of their brushes, and their brushes are really great quality. They're kind of in the middle, so they're not that crazy expensive brush, but they're also not the super, super inexpensive brush that falls apart the next day. So I do like my MAC brushes. So this one's by MAC. It's the 188 brush, and it's a duo fiber. So it has the two different types of hair. This one's nice because it really works the product into the skin, giving you more of an airbrush look. I know it seems weird to do with liquid foundation, but it's beautiful, I promise. So this is a great brush. You can also use the brush that we were just using, something kind of firm and flat. You've all kind of seen a brush like this. It looks just like a paintbrush. So this is a great brush to apply liquid foundation as well too. All right, so then once you have your liquid foundation on, what I would recommend for your powder is something big and fluffy, okay? So these are two different brushes. These are by Sigma. I love their brushes. I just recently ordered them, and I am in love with them. They are amazing. So for your powder, you want something big and fluffy. Now, all the time when I do lessons, clients will come in and they'll say, oh, I use this for my blush. This is way too big for blush because it's gonna put it all in one area. That's gonna be too much. You want it to be a little bit smaller and more concentrated for blush. But for powder, it's great. Big, fluffy, it's gonna help spread the product out, okay? So we've got your foundation brush and we've got your powder brush. Moving on to blush. So what I recommend for blush, these are two of my favorites. This one is the 168 by MAC. Has a little bit of an angle to it, so it's nice. It really contours the cheek well. You can see it's not too fat, so it doesn't put too much blush on, but it has just the perfect amount of space where you're getting a nice color on there. So that is one. This one is by NARS. I don't even know what the name of it is. It just looks really funky and cool. But this is a great blush brush. This is the one that I use. It just puts it on very softly and blends the product out really nicely as well. So this is an amazing, amazing blush brush. Okay, so then real fast, I just wanted to share with you. So I love my MAC brushes. I love Sigma brushes. I also have found a line called Real Techniques. and actually they're starting to carry them in some Walgreens. I got mine at Ulta or Sephora, but they look like this. They usually have like two-tone coloring to them, and I actually love their brushes, and they're very inexpensive. So if you're someone who's like, I don't have a ton of money to spend on my brushes, go check out these. These are awesome. I love this little brush to like get underneath my eyes with maybe like a setting powder, or to do like a little bit of a highlighter that you've seen in some of my videos. But this is just a great little brush to have to kind of put product in different places. So that would be one. So those are your face brushes. So really those are 3 brushes. You've got your foundation brush, whichever one you like. You have your big fat powder brush, and then you have a blush brush. Okay, so we only have 3 brushes so far. So that's all you need for the face. You don't need 5 million other brushes. So we're gonna move on to eyes now. Okay, so for the eyes, whenever I do my eyes, you'll notice in all my videos, I always do eyeshadow primer. I like to just use my finger and get it on there nice and smooth. So then moving on, what I always say that you need is a good fluffy kind of rounded brush. This one is the MAC 224 brush. It's amazing because it's fluffy, it's rounded. This is great for the crease area. Then what I would recommend is something kind of firm and flat. This is the 239 by MAC. So firm and flat to pack the color on the lid. So you've got your blending brush and you have your packing brush for color. Then I also recommend having a pencil brush. This one, I don't even know the number. It's actually worn off. 219. It's been a while since I've worked for MAC. The 219 brush is awesome. It's pointed, so you can actually use this to smudge. You'll see in my videos, I smudge eyeshadow underneath as my eyeliner. This is a great brush for that, or even to smudge eyeliner on the top. But I love having this brush on hand just to kind of help smoke out my eyeshadow a little bit. The other thing I would recommend is just a good angled brush. This one is by ArtNet. Every line's going to carry an angle brush, and that's not a huge deal. You don't need to spend a ton of money on an angled brush because everyone makes one. So find one that works for you, and I would get an angled brush. The reason why I like this is you can do so many different things with it. You can fill in your brows with some powder. You can fill underneath with some eyeshadow eyeliner. You can also do gel liner with this, but it's a great brush to have. Even to smudge out eyeliner too is great. So having an angled brush is always good to have in your makeup bag. And that's really all you need. So really you've got your 4 eye brushes. We'll just review them real fast. So fluffy and round, firm and flat, your angled brush, and maybe a pencil brush to kind of smudge some eyeliner. And then for your face brushes, we've got fluffy for powder, your foundation brush, a blush brush, and maybe just something a little bit smaller to apply like a highlighter or some powder underneath of the eyes. As far as cleaning your brushes, that is another huge one. I'm going to totally put my sisters on blast right now. I was over at my sister's house the other day, and I asked if I could just use her makeup to touch up, and I looked at her brush and I was like, when was the last time you cleaned this? And she kind of did not answer me, meaning that it's either been a while or not at all. So it's really important to clean your brushes. One, because if you're prone to breakouts or anything like that, brushes can really harbor some nasty bacteria. And not to freak you guys out, but I'm sure you've heard the crazy stories about just contracting different like infections and all kinds of gross things that you really don't even want to read about. So make sure that you're cleaning your brushes. So when you are going to clean your brushes, what I recommend, go to Target, go to Walgreens, and pick up just a brush cleaner. It doesn't really matter. I like to clean my brushes with MAC because that's what I have is MAC brushes. This is their brush cleaner, really inexpensive. I will put a little bit of cleaner on some tissues and just tissue my brushes off with the cleaner. I will do that probably once a week. Now, once a month, I like to really deep clean my brushes. So what does that look like? I typically will get a cup, fill it with some warm water. I do 1 part cleaner to 2 parts warm water. I get all my brushes, I'm gonna stick them in the cup, kind of swirl them around. And then what I like to do is pull each brush out underneath warm water. I really just knead through the brush, and you'll see all the color like pouring out. And just really get in there, get the water in there. Once you're done rinsing the brush, you want to set it over a ledge to dry, just like this, so that it has space all the way around so that it doesn't lose its shape, and then it dries evenly as well too. You never want to stand your brushes up because the water will seep down into the handle, loosen up the glue, and then the brushes start to fall apart. And when you spend a good bit of money on your brushes, that's the last thing you want. So make sure that you're washing your brushes really well. Like I said, I would definitely recommend at least once a month doing a deep clean. In between, if you need to clean them, you could grab some tissues, put a little brush cleaner on there, and just get your brush back and forth until the color comes off, okay? So that's how you would take care of your brushes. If you're someone who hates when your brushes shed, that usually means it's time to clean them. So I know for me, when I'm finding brush hairs everywhere, I will go ahead and give my brushes a really deep clean, and then they typically are going to be better and not shedding as much. And then when they start to do it again, I'll deep clean them again. Now over time, you will have to replace your brushes, but like I said, if you're taking good care of them, they should last you for quite a while. So that's kind of just like a quick overview on brushes. We'll definitely do more videos in the future about different lines and how to take care of them and everything like that. But I just wanted to kind of cover this quickly for you guys. So please, what I want you to do is post your questions below on what you have about brush maintenance, what kind of brush to use for what. Any questions you may have about anything related to brushes or anything else, please feel free to post it below. I hope that you guys found that this was helpful, and again, I will look forward to seeing you in our next video. Have a good day.